Hi folks, how we doing? Today is what date is it actually? I always start off like the 16th of June 2023, and this is my little gift to you. I did say in a video last week, I can't remember which one it was actually. I think it was the Ant and Dec video, and I said there's going to be a little treat for you all this next week, meaning when you're watching this. So I'm going to upload this just before I go on leave. So I'm going to leave you, this is my gift to you. And I know I said I wasn't going to channel anybody until I came back off leave, but this person came in and quite unexpected. It's someone that's been requested a couple of times, or a few times. I can't always do requests. Just because somebody's in spirit doesn't always mean to say they're going to be channeled or they can be channeled. Some spirit just doesn't want to be, or just can't be, or not interested in being channeled, or not at that time to be channeled. If you think about spirit, there's actually a lot of them that want to be channeled, so it's having to take your time with each one. But this one, Hilary Mantel, is coming through quite strong. And how it started was, I was just, what was I thinking? I don't think I was thinking about Wolf Hall or maybe the raw stuff or souls, and maybe even thought, I wonder if we'll ever get to channel Hilary Mantel. And what I was shown, and then I thought to myself, I wonder what she was in the past, because she will have a Tudor court connection. She will, without a shadow of a doubt. And what I was shown was this. She wasn't incarnated as a physical being, but what she was an energy. And these energies, souls, essence, visit different parts of history. So it can be royal history, political history, war, royalty, maritime history, all different types of history. And she said they're what they call the scribes. And she comes from a group of souls that are called the scribes. And these souls can incarnate in physical form, which she did, and they can incarnate in physical form to watch these different parts of history, but they can also do it as energies. And they're always within, they're always on the outside looking in. And then they'll incarnate onto the earth plane and they will put their knowledge into books, into films, into documentaries, into historical fiction, into historical non-fiction as well. And I just thought that was very fascinating. So, let me get my notes. Hilary Mantel, born 6th of July 1952, died 22nd of September 2022. I mean, that death date, the 22nd of September 2022, is 22222. That's a portal. So she went out on a portal. But when I was writing down the date of birth yesterday, one of the things I noticed was that her birthday is very close to Diana's, and her death date is very close to Harry's birth date. So her numerology is 30 and 3. And 30 is about balance and equilibrium. 3 is about problem solvers, inventive, and outside the box thinkers. Her past experience in the Tudor court and explained how his karma. Those are my notes that I've got to talk about in this video. And outside the box thinkers, and I'm drawn now to some of her opinions while she was on this earth. And I think, was it Catherine? She referred to something like a black, don't quote me on this. I was going to try and Google this before I came on, but I didn't want to. I don't like Googling before I'm channeling, because you can bring in stuff for nonsense by Googling sometimes. I'll Google it for the dates of birth and stuff and to get the picture. I try and stay away from it. Making people think outside the box in relation to monarchy, in relation to royalty, and in relation to being able to see all aspects of it, the light, the dark, the good deeds, the bad deeds, all of it. Because what she's saying now is that many people can only see just the badness. Many people can only see just the goodness. And when the two sides come together, it can be woof. And at different times of our incarnation, and our incarnations, we can be on both sides. You can maybe be, I'm sick of it, have you heard this? Have you heard that? Have you heard that? Have you heard that? Wink, 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 nod, nod, nod. And you can also find yourself at this side at times. And the best way to be, she's saying, in the middle, where you can observe it all, but you have no judgment of it. And bringing yourself back to some type of equilibrium. One of the things that came through a couple of days ago was about Harry's karma. Obviously, you know that Harry, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, was in fact the reincarnation of Henry VIII. And we know that Meghan was Queen Anne Boleyn. So that's going to be heavy clearing. And it is heavy clearing. And one of the things, I have briefly touched on this, I'm sure it was just after I did the coronation video. And it was that the reason why Harry's story at the minute is so difficult for him and such a burden for him to carry is because during his lifetime as Henry VIII, H-A-Z, okay, fair enough. During his lifetime as Henry VIII, if you think about what he did as king, beheaded his wives, murdered his wives, divorced his wives, left his wives vulnerable during pregnancy, cheated on his wives, played power trips with his children, the heir, the spare. What's his book called, The Spare? You know, you woke up one morning and you were Princess Elizabeth, and the next morning your mum were dead and you were the Lady Elizabeth. And this went on and on. So that was a lot. So then he finds himself incarnated back in as the son of Charles and Diana, and he has to experience being in one of the most controversial royal stories since the time of the Tudors, I believe. And he has to find himself on the other side of the spectrum as the child to understand and learn about his karma and learn about the pain that he caused in that karma, the pain that he caused to his wives, his mistresses, his girlfriends, his family, society as well, his bloodthirsty ways, which we know some of his bloodthirsty ways have seeped into this lifetime. And he was meant to learn what it is to be a young prince or princess. He could have come in as a prince, but he came as a prince. To watch the dismantling, the manipulation of the Windsor court, and watch it fragment, and watch what happens when things are manipulated against mum, against dad, against all kinds of things, and what that is to be an innocent bystander. And then to witness the death of his mother, and to then have to work his way through all the many question marks that come with that. So that's how he came in to incarnate, to actually learn about that. Then he meets Meghan, and then boom, off we go again. And yeah, so let's get to it. It's interesting because when I'm seeing Hilary Mantel, I'm seeing her as Hilary Mantel, but I'm also seeing her as like a blue energy. And I can't really describe, it's not Palladian, it's not like that. It's a blue like we've never really seen before, but it's like an outline of energy. She's saying to me now that she struggled in body form. She struggled in body form. And she didn't understand how to fully look after the body. And she's also saying that she felt quite claustrophobic in her body. I know that she put on a lot of weight in her lifetime. And sometimes you'll channel souls and they'll appear at different times of their lifetime. So you recognise them. But she's wanting to stay more in soul essence rather than appearing as Hilary Mantel, if that makes sense. This is interesting. She's saying a lot of people that struggle with illness, struggle with weight, or body, would it be body dysmorphia, something like that? It's actually partly down to the soul not feeling comfortable in the body, and the soul needing to be comfortable in the body, especially if you've had, I don't know, I'm going to go into the ins and outs of it, but it's about the soul not being comfortable in the body, especially if you're not used to being incarnated. And not all people that have this experience are not going to look after themselves, but it feels so for her. And as though she's saying, you've got a job to do, maybe you're not going to be here for very long, like in her instance. So it's almost like you get focused on the job in hand, be it being the healer, the reader, the author, the producer, whatever it is for you, and you lose track of the physical body. And before you know it, it's like, shit, what have I done? Because now I've got to try and reverse all that. And the more that you leave it, and the longer that you leave it, the more it is to reverse it. And the bigger the job it is to reverse it. I think her last book, so basically for those of you who don't know, Hilary Mantel, I've not got all 3 books here, I've got all 3 books in my office, but I've got this one on my altar here, and she wrote the Wolf Hall trilogy, which was based on Thomas Cromwell, who, if you've watched my channeling of Thomas Cromwell, you will know that Thomas Cromwell was also Henry Paul in a previous life, well, in one of his most previous lifetimes. And we know who Henry Paul was. Henry Paul was the driver of Diana's Mercedes on that fateful night. So it is a tangled web we weave. They don't just weave it, they're all family. We've got a tangled web as well. So where else are we going with this, Hilary? Thank you. She showed me a couple of days ago that those same energies that watch the Tudor court are also watching what's going on now. And she showed me energies, especially she focusing on Charles and Diana. So I reckon in like 100 years' time, once it becomes history, it's already history, but once it becomes acceptable to start going down historical fiction route, there's going to be some blockbusters, she says, that come out about Charles and Diana. And now I'm seeing a book, maybe a trilogy, whatever it is, that comes out further down the line that becomes just as famous, if not as famous as this. She's now drawing my attention to that karma, so Charles and Diana's karma. Let me just tune into that, Charles and Diana's karma. She's showing me like a swamp, or what do you call it, like a desert. She's showing me ground that moves, and this ground moves and something comes up to be seen. Yeah, so I think maybe there's going to be some type of a revelation coming. Now this could be in our lifetime, or it could be in future lifetimes, where many people will be discussing that part of history in the same way that people are now really deep diving into Henry VIII and all the different alternatives, because she's saying that there was a main narrative that was put out, but there was so much more to it than that. And she actually struggled to fit it all into these books. It was almost like at times she was writing down and it was overwhelming, because there was so much that she could have put in these books that she wasn't allowed to, she's saying. So I don't know what that could be. Things that would have just made it too messy and too hard to get out. And she says, but gradually people will start diving more into this, layer by layer by layer, until it's cleared and understood and healed and let go of, so we can move on and they can move on with clear, clean karma. Interesting things are coming through. Where should we start with the cards? I'm using the Gilded Tarot Royale by Cairo Marchetti and Barbara Moore, and I'm going to be using Lemurian Star Child by, let me pick the box up, Leanne Carpenter and Michael Kroon. So Hilary Mantel, what next message do we want to go into? She's showing me a baby born into the court of Henry VIII, and I think it's Henry's child. And this child was... Have I gone down this route before? did I say something about Mary Boleyn's? Did this come with the Mary Boleyn video I did? I'm sure something like this. Well, this baby was taken out of the court. So, would it have been one of the queens? Let me tune into it. So there's a baby born in the Tudor court. It's Henry VIII's child, but it's taken out of the Tudor court. It's written out of history. It's not killed, I don't think. It's not dead. It's just taken out. Let me sit with that. Let's pull some cards on it. Why would they be taking babies out of royal courts? I'll tell you, I'll share what I'm saying. I'm not made sense of it yet, but what I'm saying is it's Anne Boleyn's child. And I'm wondering if it is in fact a boy. Why would they do that? Because he was desperate for a boy. If they wanted to set her up, they would. Now, if that's the case, 500 years later, she comes back with the biggest chip on her shoulder. She's back smack in the middle of the royal court, and she's back smack in the middle with him. Okay, let's pull some cards on it now. Right. My cards just went a bit funny. You know that happens with me a lot. Even if you have a personal reading with me, it's not uncommon. And the cards separated, and this is where they've separated. I'm going to try and see if I can show you. So we've got a page, a boy, and we've got a king. Honestly. So we've got a page, so the I'll show you in a minute. We've got a page, a prince, and we've got a king. And we've got an ending. Right, so let me get this deck back together again. So yeah. So would that bloodline, where is it? Look at me, getting back from them avenues, Claire. I'll try and trace them. Let me pull some cards on it though, let's ground. Because the energies are quite woof around that. So if that's the case, that could have changed history, because that would have meant that Elizabeth I would have never come to the throne. Anne was told it was dead. Okay. The High Priestess. Now, sometimes in some... let me keep pulling. Yeah. We'll do 5 cards. It is. Or is it? Let me see what's going on here. Bringing balance. Now, when sometimes, you as a reader, you'll have your work with your decks in your own way. You follow the book to an extent, but then as a reader you start to work with the deck in your own way. Sometimes, in some cases for me, the High Priestess, in some readings, and I know the High Priestess doesn't really mean this, but she can be quite a narcissistic energy, okay? When she comes in, probably upside down, but you know I don't do upside down stuff, right? But depending on what cards come with her, she's not always narcissistic, but in some cases it can be, especially this one where it's like, it's what I call my flouncy card. It's look at me. So, right, and the battle, and the loss and the despair, the Queen of Cups, emotion, and the Judgment Call. So I think this is also something that's playing in that soul essence of having experienced that. Can I just shuffle some cards to see if it is Anne, just to check? See what cards come up in relation to Anne Boleyn and this baby that was taken away. As I'm talking about it, my throat chakra is absolutely, literally, it's like sharpness. Not sure, it's not weird. It's not weird. It's just like I'm being drawn to the throat because she got beheaded, didn't she? And I've just had a card that flipped up. Where are you? Come back. Cards that flip up index triggers me. Right, you can see that the card that flipped up. Death card. You're very welcome to this channel. We get to the roots. We get to the root of it on here, don't we? You've been following me a while. This is no different. This is just a bog standard simple reading. This, but this is what happens. Yes. Death. So when I said about the throat chakra, she was beheaded because she couldn't give birth to a boy. That's what history kind of says but doesn't say. But in actual fact she did. But because she was such a firecracker, they had to, because she wasn't playing the game with, who wasn't she playing the game with? Who wasn't she playing the game with? Oh, how interesting. Queen of Wands. It's always my handling card. Ooh. Right, okay. She wasn't playing the game with we've got the Wheel of Fortune, and we've got the Knights and the powers that were. So the royal courtiers, the royal people of the time in the 1500s. So she wasn't playing. See what I mean? When you work with tarot, and I use tarot a lot even for my own personal stuff. It blows my mind every time I use it. Every time I use it, it blows my mind. Because literally, you cannot make it up. You cannot make it up. So, what's going to be the repercussions from this in her incarnation as Meghan? Because you aware that she's Meghan? She's nodding. What's going to be the repercussions? She says those are starting already. Star card. Four of Wands. Five of Cups. Three of Wands. And the Sun. And the Empress. Okay. So, what's going to be the outcome? The outcome is... Let me tune into Hilary. What's going to be the outcome? Maybe still energy. Can you show me the outcome? I'm seeing Prince William. Prince William's like stepping forward, so it may be around about the time that Prince William's in charge. She's showing me Charles. Now we know Charles was the Duke of Norfolk, yes, who was Anne Boleyn's uncle. And Hilary's saying Charles is a red rag to a bull for Meghan. And there's something, but William isn't for some reason. William doesn't feel like he's a red rag, although they have fallen out. But it just feels for this particular situation. See what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Harry passing. I've said this loads of times, whether he's young or middle-aged, well, let's not go into it. We might have to go into it at some point, I don't know. But I'm seeing Harry passes, and at the passing of Harry, there's a download that comes into Meghan, and it almost like takes her breath away. This is going to happen to everyone at some point. Organic healing. I need to do. Can I talk about it in this video? We're going to complicate things with soul contracts. There's a big thing with soul contracts at the minute, where a lot of karma is organically clearing, and a lot of light at the minute is just booming. This planet at the minute is light, and the body's flaring up in all kinds of things. And all kinds of events are going off in people's lives to make them boom with these downloads and all this stuff that's coming in to make them see themselves. But it feels as though whatever happens actually ends up bringing Megan peace. And it feels as though it's William now. It could be King, he may not be King, but it just feels William. That's the one I'm seeing, is William stepping forward. Because it feels as though Charles isn't equipped to deal with it. Right, so it could be possible that Charles is alive. Because what I'm seeing now is Charles at his desk with that red box, all the roll papers, all the roll stuff, and it's just like picking up, William, sort this out. And it's almost it's almost like I don't want to, just you sort it out. Because actually Charles on some level isn't meant to, because he is a red rag to a bull. But we've got the star, we've got the happy ever after, we've got the celebration. I'm also wondering if she comes back in, if there's some type of, I don't want to go too dark. Maybe if he passes Harry and she has to come back into the country for a funeral, that William meets her or tries to build a bridge with her, and then we've got the sun card, which then takes her into a much more better energy and gives her the healing that she needs, which is only can be good. Use this deck now, see what this one says, because this is good about downloads, is this deck. It's a really good deck. By the way, I'm not tolerating any hatred in the comments to anybody in this reading. If you're new to my channel, please be aware that if you put a comment of hatred in the comments, you'll get deleted. If I think it warrants it, you will also be blocked. I don't accept hatred to myself, to any of my subjects, to any of the subjects that I cover, to anyone that I read on. Even when I read on some of the most darkest characters in history, I do not tolerate antagonism. It's about healing with divine feminine. Megan's got those wounds. I've got those wounds. You've got those wounds. Know yourself, and this is about coming back to our soul essence. Meditate, who am I? Veil is lifting, opening. Receive your birthright, unconditional love at the bottom. So this is all about rising of the divine feminine. This isn't just about women. This is about the divine feminine energy within men. It's interesting, this morning there's another hosepipe ban going on, and in certain parts of the country, and all I got was, yeah, let's not water Mother Earth, let's let her go dry. Do you know what I mean? And again, it comes back down to how we treat the divine feminine. And this isn't just about how we treat each other, but how we treat our own divine feminine energy, and how we continue to come into incarnations and punish ourselves, to put ourselves in these horrendous situations where we receive all of this other trauma and we build up all this other trauma. But then there has to come to this moment where something has to give and something has to clear. So, what other message are we going to go into right now? See the word Albert. Albert. So would it be Prince Albert? Let me think about this. Albert. I think it's Prince Albert I'm feeling now. Is there any historical fiction around Prince Albert and Victoria? Do you know he's there? I've never seen any. Have you? Let me know in the comments. I've never seen any. Maybe still a bit too soon. I don't know. No, because there is other historical fiction out there. Albert. Albert. So, let me think, because we've got the World, we've got the Ace of Wands, we've got the Magician, and we've got the Sun. So let's just take some water first, and then we'll tune into Albert. I think Albert's aware. I think Albert would think talking about it like he's still alive. I think Albert was aware of things within the royal circles, and I'm wondering if he was aware of this thing with Anne Boleyn and the baby. Did I once? I think I've once channeled him. I had a different YouTube channel once, and I was going to start doing all my royal stuff on a separate channel, and I closed it down because it was just too. I know all that content went, as you do, and it's not there anymore because I've just closed it down because it was too much having two channels. Albert. Now I remember, if I remember rightly, in that channeling, I said that Albert was, let me get this right because that was a while ago that, I said that Albert was one of Eugenia or Beatrice's husbands, and I can't remember which one it was. I said that Beatrice was Victoria. I remember that. Beatrice is a reincarnation of Victoria. I said that Eugenie is Lady Jane Rochford, who was Anne Boleyn's sister-in-law. But I think when I did it, I think I said it's almost like opposite Albert. So I'm wondering if he's, what's his name? Oh God, Brooksbank. Because I remember the videos. It's almost like you'd think if he was Beatrice, but he's not. He's with Eugenie in this lifetime. So Albert is playing a role in that Meghan thing that's playing out, because I think he was I think his ending had a question mark over it. I think there was a lot more going on there than we're led to believe, and I think that he was a man that was ahead of his time. Albert, a real man ahead of his time, a man that wanted to change things, really change things. And I feel as on some respects he probably was a man for the people and a man for justice and love, and probably wasn't perfect, probably did his shadow, of course he did. But I feel on some respect there was a light within him that wasn't allowed to shine in the way that it was meant to. But always remember, even when that light is stopped, the soul goes on and the soul still works in that area, if that makes sense. So, and it's the same with Diana. Just because the physical shell is no longer there, the soul essence is there, and they work diligently. You don't die and go sit on a cloud and that's it. R.I.P. That's it. You work as a spirit. Essence, soul works all the time. Soul progresses, soul awakens, soul enlightens, and you... What's that buzzing noise? Can you hear that? If it carries on, I'll shut that door. Soul... yeah. Soul helps behind the scenes, and also you find you reincarnate, and I'm wondering if that's why he's reincarnated in a position where he's not actually the main buzz of it. Same with Elizabeth I, who is Sophie Wessex, Sophie Edinburgh, apologies. It's almost like being the main top dog of the time didn't serve them too well for sort of many other reasons, so they take back seaters. Also as well, souls are placed in all these different areas within our world that may have a lot of dense heavy energies within them to actually bring light into them, because had these souls not been there, things could have got a lot worse. And you may think, whatever, Claire, it is a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. Some of the timelines for this earth have been off the scale for darkness. And actually we have dodged so many bullets, it's untrue. So, yes. How is Albert and other souls helping in that present family at this time? Purity. How do you do that? Because I get asked this question a lot. You just be. There's way too many people at the minute thinking, what have I got to do, what have I got to do, what have I got to do? You've just got to live a good life, a humble life. You've got to just be yourself. You've just got to be yourself in life, in your incarnation. Purity, they're helping to anchor this in. So, you are pure, open spiritual eyes. It's the frequency in which they come in on. It's about, look at this card of creation. The card of creation. Unique expression, flow of creation, joyfulness. And these are not just in role circles, these are in all families, all communities, all cities, or anywhere where there could be some darkness. These souls come in. And I am not talking about that whole light worker thing that has gone way too far and it's been put into ego. I don't use the word light worker anymore. I think it's a word that has just lost its way. Because the truth is also everyone's got light within them. Cities of light, Thelos, Adama, Inner Earth, Etheric Retreats and Family of Light. Oh yeah. Let me come back to this in a minute, just let me hold that thought. Multidimensional, multiple dimensions, timelines, be you, don't even try to fit in. She showed me earlier things like Balmoral, Sandringham, all of them have these light portals in the ground. And I was like, whoa, what am I saying? And she said, don't worry, it's not, and she was showing me, she said, they're light portals. And these light portals are also wherever there are dark portals. Because these light portals into the earth go into these inner earth cities that are, there's above and above as is below. So there's beings of light above us, beings of light amongst us, beings of light below us. So basically you're sandwiched, you showed me a sandwich now, where you're sandwiched by beings of light. So for those of you that are going into fear over certain things, know that the thing is, what she's showing me is you can't go in and just boof, eradicate darkness. Because what happens is each human being has to switch this on within themselves. And this isn't about sitting on internet going through all the latest intel. That's not awakening. That is not awakening. Awakening is not sitting on the internet knowing all the latest intel. In fact, that can actually be a part of de-awakening, and that can be jumping from one matrix straight into another one. This is about souls waking up to their love and their compassion and their understanding for each other, even when they're shown horrific things in the world. And horrific things with the people around them, on the globe stage, horrific things of stuff that's going on within them. So these portals are all over. So above, upper earth, middle earth, lower earth. What? Have I just covered what I was meant to cover there? What did I? I'm sure I said I need to cover this in a minute. I think I've just covered that. Right, so in relation to the karma of Henry VIII in his incarnation as Harry, how far is he clearing it? She's showing me him just going round in circles. Is he clearing it? How's he doing with that karma clearing of Henry VIII? My doorbell. We'll put it this way, by the time he leaves this earth, he's done it. By the time he leaves this earth, between him and his gods, between him and his guides, between him and his higher self, he's cleared it, he's done it. Judgment. It's going to be messy. It's going to be, and it is messy. He's having to protect himself. He's got a lot coming at him. He's got a lot coming at him. He's up against the wall as well at the minute. Something is up against the wall, having to defend himself. But then we go into the Star card, the Death card, Death and Rebirth, the Justice card, and then we go to the Empress. So there's so many multiple messages. Now and again you'll pull some cards, you just think, God, the message is there. So, try and get back into some kind of order. He is going to clear his karma in this lifetime as Harry. That Empress card also ties into the Anne Boleyn karma. With the children and the missing child. So I'm just looking to spend some time with the cards. Letterbox. How's he going to do it? He's doing it already. Believe it or not. And the thing is, we mustn't jump in and say, yeah, but how is he? Look at all the mess he's causing, all the pain he's causing. Get bored of those comments. Switch them off now. I do. I just get so sick of that loop energy that we have to deal with at the minute on YouTube. Delete. Sorry, I have to protect when I'm working like this, you've got to protect your work, and you've got to protect the messages, and you've got to, because there's so many people at the minute that are still looping with the anger energy. And yes, he is going to clear his karma. It could be around his death, it could be after his death, it could just be before his death. It could be, it's going to be cleared. Justice, the Empress, birthing the new Earth energy, the Mother Earth energy coming in. The Empress can also be Diana helping him on some level to try and get himself sorted out. Harry and his karma of Henry VIII. Harry and his karma, Henry VIII. Crystal child, your natural core, pure, innocent, removing falsehood, seer. He has to see his inner child. Not the inner child as cheeky Harry, but the inner child, the inner spirit, the inner purity. And now I'm being told that this is a problem with everyone at the minute, not just him, not just them, but the problem with so many people I cannot see their inner light. They can't see their inner light. They can't see their inner goodness. And this is about coming back home to source. A well of dreams, creation, visions, messages, dissolve the veil, bliss, dreams. A lot of healings going on in dreams. That is for everyone at the minute. There's a lot of dream state going on. Spending time with Diana in dream state. Maybe that's how he's going to be doing it. That's how everyone heals, actually. Itchy nose. Maybe he's spending some time in dream state with Diana and his guides. Know yourself, meditate, who am I? Veil is lifted, opening. Manifest, co-creation, gratitude, divine alignment, joyful visions. She's saying to me, a lot of your watchers at the minute are going, I know. No, I'm not taking the mick there, but it's almost, I can imagine people going, what? How is this going to happen? How is this, what it seems like to be a dark situation going to happen? And what she's showing me is this energy of, this is upgrades that are coming in, the solstices. I've told you this. The solstices, the moons, the eclipses are getting hugely powerful. The Schumann resonance, the geomagnetic frequencies, the solar flares that are hitting Earth, it's all coming in and we're being pummeled with light. And you have no excuse anymore. And this is going to be layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And it's almost like now I'm seeing Metatron turning up the time, and that's why time is starting to spin now. That's why you start at 9 and before you know it, it's 5 o'clock and you're like, where's my day gone? Because time is being spun up as well, because this has to be done. We've got to do it quickly. And how do you do it, Claire? You go back into your love sense and your love source and your source of compassion, and you look at yourself and others through those eyes, through the veil of compassion. That's going to be really hard for some people. But the more that we stay in these lower vibrations and lower frequencies, blame, shame, did you know, Ooh, the more we'll anchor ourselves back. And actually we're destroying ourselves, we're destroying the earth, and the world for the next generation to come in, who could be your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. So you will also start to see people, and I've said this as well, people on the world stage that all of a sudden start to change in a good way. And you're like, it's going to be confusing. It's going to be really confusing. And it's going to be so easy to just want to slam out and I can't cope with this, I can't cope with this. I thought they were a baddie, I thought they were good, I can't cope with this. And in some cases, if it's someone that you really thought was the baddie and all of a sudden they do something really good, it's going to fire up this, it can, in some people's antagonism, because it's fake news. That's what we said. You'll see people, it's fake news, they're faking it, they're doing it for publicity, and it's going to be really confusing. And what we're going to be asked to do is shh, step back and let what needs to happen come in. Because ultimately this journey is about everyone coming home to themselves, everyone coming home to source, and everyone coming home to each other. But in the mix all that is all the debris that we're having to clear. Right, where are we going next? Queen of Swords, I don't even know what I was asking then. I wanted to know where that Berlin baby went. Where did that Berlin baby go? When I saw that Queen of Swords, and literally it just flipped out and it landed on my desk, and I thought, oh, Penny Mordaunt there. Because I remember when I was doing the coronation videos, I think every video I did, it was like, there's a Queen of Swords here, and we couldn't quite understand why we got a Queen of Swords. Because she seemed kind of mysterious, and I realised it was Penny Mordaunt with that sword, the Queen of Swords. I'm wondering where's that from, that baby that was born? I reckon I get it. Do you get it? Where is she now? Where is the bloodline now? The High Priestess at the bottom. The Knight taking away the baby. The volcano was the eruption of pain, the beheading, the all of that. The Knight taken away. Out in the cold, left away from the royal court. The manipulation and magic of the royal court back then. The king, the angry king. And then the son. I was going to say, is this baby connected to Penny Mordaunt? To Penny Mordaunt's line, because it just feels strange. It just feels like it could be. I'm seeing just DNA like a tree now, the family line just bursts. It could be. There feels as though there is some connection there with that. Are we aware of anybody from that bloodline? We had the High Priestess before, didn't we? Temperance. I'm wondering if it's Megan. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. Imagine it. Could be anyone, actually, to be quite honest. High Priestess, the King of Swords. Let's keep shuffling. I'm getting needle in a haystack. The Wheel of Fortune and the King of Pentacles. Shall I just trust what I got? Should I just trust my intuition? I think it's in. I think if you trace Penny Mordaunt's bloodline back, at some point she is connected to that baby that was squirreled off. Have I just read in an historical fiction book that the Mordaunts, excuse me, apologies if I've said the name wrong, are actually well bred? Sure I have. She's going to Google now. I'm going to Google. I'm sure I've read in a historical fiction lately that the Mordaunt family, Penny Mordaunt family, are well bred. Penny Mordaunt's Irish roots trace back to Catholic family from Co-Wexford. See, that seems more probable as well, because they would want rid of that baby. So something to somewhere like Ireland or... Anyway, God, what a mystery. Let's keep moving on. Let's not stay stuck. Where are we going next? I don't even know where we're going next. I'm just shuffling. Oh. Where are we going next? I've got 8 of Wands. I've got the Chariot, the Page of Wands and the Lovers. I don't even know why, because I wasn't even asking a question. I've been shown some books and texts and diaries and letters of Henry VIII that are going to come up eventually. Layer by layer by layer by layer. I'm now seeing Harry having dreams of Henry VIII. But these dreams are actually... That's interesting. He's also had experience whilst he's been taking things, like hallucinations involving Henry VIII. That's something that's actually spiralled him. I know he's mentioned taking certain things. That's something that spiralled him. See, that's why I say about... And I'm seeing ayahuasca, actually, and that doesn't surprise me. So why I say about ayahuasca is not the be-all and end-all that people are led to believe. And it can have some horrific consequences if it's not done properly with proper healers, shamans. If it's just done with, you know... Anyway. She's taking me to Roman times. I know my lover's card has got a Roman soldier in it now, but I'm being taken to Roman times now. There's a series of books, of Roman books, that it feels as though she's responsible for. I don't know when, if there's something coming in the future, or is it the future? Because I can see her now in the Roman times, in Rome itself, in the centre of it all. Now she's showing me the Vatican. God, here we go. The Vatican. That'd be where it'd be all stored. I've been there, you know. I had an horrible experience there. Awful it was. So I went in 2015. I still do my old job then, and I've just met my husband. And we went to Vatican. Never again. Not as long as I live. Vatican. What are you going to say about the Vatican? Right, I'm going to have to talk in code. Rome, Empress, Knights. I think there's something coming up about that area. I think humanity's coming to a big tipping point, a big choice point. Many people are ready, but not sure if they're ready. Many people still don't want to go there, but there's something coming in to do with the VAT icon. Yes, I've just changed the name for a bit. I have said that wrong on purpose. There's something coming through. There's something coming up about that, and it's tracing back to her time as a soul, watching stuff around that area. Where can I go with this? She's showing us now humanity on a roller coaster ride at the minute, and it's almost like, and we're just being pummeled. We've got all this stuff coming, our own stuff coming in. We've got all the world stuff coming up. We've got all fakery coming in as well. There's a lot of fakery out there at the minute, and it's almost like, well, I can't do it. 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 And the guidance that she's giving me is to go into your heart with it. It's very tempting when this stuff comes up is to go into blaming, shaming, dramaing, clickbaiting, all that kind of thing. But we must go into our heart with it. You move through it quicker when you go into your heart. You move through it quicker when you go into your heart. Please don't discuss in the comments what could be coming up in relation to this place of the world. Any comments in discussion about surmising, I will have to delete. I apologise now in advance. Peace beyond survival. Angelic ones, divine healing is upon you, divine grace and divine guidance. Divine grace and divine guidance. So let's move into the future. Are you able to see the future of the royal family that you've written about? Like a blank. Well, it isn't. I saw two kings. It's the future. I'm seeing Balmoral being sold. So Balmoral's going to be sold. the future. It should be a time machine. Right, okay, time machine. I'm seeing William waking up one morning and it's like all hell's let loose over something. And it's like, woof. I'm seeing him waking up, knock to his door, bedroom door, someone's outside, dressed in a suit, probably one of the people. Be prepared to take the throne, I'm hearing, be prepared to take the throne. I'm seeing the word cancer, so I'm presuming this is Charles. And if you can't see, be aware that it was going to happen, wouldn't you? So is this down to death or is it down to... This should take us time. All day. There's something we're not seeing. There's something we're not seeing. Seeing bowel cancer. I'm wondering if he goes ill, Charles, and you really, like the Queen, they kind of like plastered over it for forever. But it feels as though with Charles it doesn't. He's unable to commit duties. He's unable to carry out duties. What is this? Let's have some cards. God. It's just before a birthday. There's somebody's birthday. It's somebody's birthday because Kate and William are ready for a birthday, and it feels like it could be not like a royal birthday either. It's either the children or it's her family, and it's almost like God. It just all comes at once. It's around a birthday. Yeah, the Emperor. Chest full of money. Magician. The Queen of Cups. The Burden. And the Hanging Man. Queen of Cups, Diana. Now I'm seeing phone calls bouncing around all the palaces, like Clarence House bounce. There's all these phone calls bouncing around. What's happened to make William do this, to make this? See, now I'm not sure if it's Charles or if it's I'm seeing Charles has gone. I'm seeing that Charles has gone mad. I'm not laughing at that, it's like cancer, now he's gone mad. Is there something in his blood that's sent him mad? He's always just sat in a chair and he's like, he's just, I'm thinking like, is there what was his name? Madness of King George. Something's just, poof. It's coming unexpected. It's pandemonium. There's phone calls going all around. Nobody knows what to do. And there's a lot of inexperienced people, men in suits around. There's obviously Dinah's energy around. I wonder if the Star Child deck will give us more. Anyway, we're not allowed to see it all. People say, if you're clairvoyant, how come you can't see? You're not allowed to sometimes. There'd be no point. You're just given bits of the story, and sometimes afterwards you may think, oh, I understand what that means. Yeah, observers just flipped out. Divine blueprint. Loving eyes, see all. Equanimity, see the truth, step back. Thank you for that. I'm stepping back. I'm being told to step back. See the truth of it, step back, be the observer. It's what I always say, be the observer. Divine blueprint, source self, embodiment, inspiration, you are ready. I'm being told to step back. When will this be? When will it be? I'm getting 2 years. Within 2 years. Within 2 years. Okay. Right, future for Harry. Because you've written a lot about Harry in that incarnation of Henry. And then we'll close this down. Future for Harry. Future for Harry. Future for Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. Future for Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. Ooh. Boundaries, having to defend oneself at the bottom. We've got Meghan in America. Okay, we've got the powers that were and the Emperor. What do we do now? Maybe even a divorce issue going on there, some type of a separation. And planting a new seed. 3 of Pentacles, coming back possibly to the UK. Is he going to come back to the United Kingdom? King of Wands, which is Henry VIII, possibly. I'm seeing him having an apartment, actually. I'm seeing it in St James's Palace. In what year span are we looking at this? I'm getting 3. So 2 years, 3 years. Within the next 3 years. Excuse me. She's saying that we must also remember that time is very fluid at the minute. She says depending on where we're all at, things can quicken up, or things can slow right down, or things can change altogether, okay? But 2 and 3 years. So in 2 years, within the next 2 years, you may see King William. Within the next 3 years, you'll see Harry coming back, maybe divorcing, her staying there, powers that were in Hierophant having to sort it all out. So, final messages. What time are we on? Final messages for this reading. Final messages for this reading. Let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed the reading. Put these cards back in. I've got the death, I've just done the death card again. We're right back. We're right back to that boy. Honestly, right, the boy and the secret around the boy. And honestly, I'll keep shuffling. And the Wheel of Fortune. 2 more cards. Whoa, the truth of that. They just flipped out the Magician and the Death card. Endings and new beginnings. So, this is all This all started when she gave birth to a boy. The boy was taken out into the others. She was then, that was it, that was the beginning of the end for her. And that was her vendetta. I'm seeing the words vendetta. The secrets of that, needing to move forward from that, the truth of that, the magician coming in to say, come on, we need to clear this, we need to heal this, we need this to play out. We've then got the death card, which is death and rebirth at the bottom. Okay. Purity. Again, it's the same message, purity. Rise into Palladium. I didn't mention the Pleiades earlier, didn't I? Rise into Palladium frequencies. Sacred bond, healing clears. Healing clears space for higher energies. Right, I'm going to come back to that card. Log that in my brain. Talk about it in a minute. Excuse me for a minute while I bend down. Ethereal matter. Spiritualized matter, new life, sparkles, bedding in the light. Oh, I love this reading. I love this deck actually. I want to get it out more often. You ready for it? The portals, where the light beings, where the elementals are. There'll be all kinds of different light beings down there. Elementals, galactics, the portals, the healing, the rising in frequencies, the stuff coming out, having to go into non-judgment, having to show love to fellow man, having to purify the body, having to purify the energy field, having to purify the earth, having to purify history, having to purify our thoughts as well in relation to history, me included. I can slip down rabbit holes with a picnic in my hand, honestly, and a flask with some popcorn and a nice comfy sofa at times, so we mustn't. Rise into Palladian frequencies, sacred bond, healing clears, space for higher energies. Ethereal, ether matter. Actually, that looks like the being that I'm seeing that she is now. That's the being. That is the being, the blue one. But I'm speaking of with different colours. And look at that, the infinity sign. Oh, I've enjoyed this. I could go on forever with these. I'm conscious of not going on forever though, because, you know, there's always going to be a part 2 to everything. So, how do you wrap that one up then, Claire? I don't know. Like, comment and subscribe. I'm not being a drama queen over comments, but please don't know it. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that comes in, but I don't allow it. I always say I'll accept any comment as long as it's loving, balanced, emotionally intelligent, and of a place of, or trying to be from a place of 5D. Anything else, honestly, I won't accept it. I won't, because it's not fair, and it's not fair on people that are watching, it's not fair on people that are reading the comments, it's not fair on the souls that step forward, and it's not fair on the people that are concerned. And we're finishing at 12:21. So, I feel like I just want to keep going. I feel like there's so much more to say. I feel like I've missed stuff as well. Like I've said, I'll come back to that later, and I haven't. If I'm meant to have, I will. So this is Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. Okay, I've tried to cover as much as I can. Makes me want to read it again, otherwise I know it is a thick book. So enjoy your reading, enjoy your writing, enjoy your creativity, enjoy your healing journey, enjoy your life. Be good to each other, be good to yourself, love yourself, honour yourself. If there is a body issue going on, heal that. Make peace with yourself, love your temple. This is a temple. It's a gift that was given to you at the time of birth. For God's sake, love it. Feed it good, love it good. Feed it good, love it harder, I'm getting. Feel it good. Anyway, love it good. Anyway, feed it good love it harder. And comments about readings. Yes, I do personal readings via Zoom. Website is always below. Other social media is always below. I'm just thinking of anything else I've missed. Claire, who's Camilla? Oh, Victor, I keep getting this. I've done this a lot. Catherine Parr. I have done a lot of videos on this subject. You just have to have the time to sit down and watch them. There is the content out there. There is in the playlist. So yes, thanks for watching. Oh, should we do an emoji? What emoji should we do? If you've seen the end of this film, I'd like you to leave me a stream of emojis full of sunshine and love hearts with the intention of sending that out to all that need it. Thanks for watching. Love to all. See you in the next one. Take care and bye. Now I've got to turn you off. Bye.